Okay, I know I always ragged on South Park as the proverbial fart joke of gaming history, but the only thing that I'd be able to compare worse would be the original Borderlands one. If the South Park video games are the proverbial fart, the original Borderlands trilogy is like a proverbial piss joke. I mean, it was the Wild West of gaming. Everyone was trying new concepts, new ideas, and Randy Pitchford's legacy will forever be releasing a really, 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 really longly drawn out piss joke with some side franchises thrown in. Let's just discuss Borderlands 1 as quickly as possible. Now, I'm not against a little bit of crude humor in games, a nice throw in a bone joke here, a fart joke there, boner humor. Fine. Fine by all accounts. I'm cool with that. I have no problem with it. It's nice to see a little haha, especially when this was definitely rated M for mature, but they knew their entire stock and market of people playing this would be teenagers who went to buy it from like Walmart or EB Games when that was still a deal, or college frat dudes that still had their PS2 and wanted to, co-op with some of their buddies. I can't get over how wildly over-accepted this game series is because it stood out in the Wild West. Like, there are so many franchises that were born in that window from like 2006 to 2011 where the Wild West of gaming kind of dried up and we started getting genres and series that were more cemented. And I mean, who could blame us for latching onto a good haha funny series? I mean, it's just bathroom humor, it's guns, it's loot, it's basically a giant garbage bowl of ADHD traps. And for anyone that doesn't suffer from extreme ADHD, ADD, the art style's not bad. It was one of, at its time, very few, and I think almost the first, real big title that used comic book style cell shading as their primary art style. And I mean, now we've got stuff like the Telltale games and all that other shit that use it. It's not an uncommon art style because everyone's like, oh, haha, it's so niche. And it was niche back then too, and they were just trying something different to save on the processing power. Like, I don't know if people really rightly remember this. I'm gonna show my stripes as an old ass tiger here, but the PlayStation 2 and I believe it was the Xbox original did not have a lot of processing power. They did not have a lot of visual RAM to keep up with some of the games. I mean, having dynamic day-night cycles almost never happened. It did sometimes, but shadows were completely thrown out. Having like bright flashy colors were usually just 2D animations that looked really coolly 3D and not actually 3D. It was a time for art to evolve in gaming, and I hate the fact that it is stuck to the most annoying series in history. Now, I say this from a place of love. I did not have Borderlands growing up. I had a friend down the street from me. She had Borderlands. And so I'd hang out at her place after school. We'd play Borderlands. Pretty cool game. What I didn't love about Borderlands back then was even on a PlayStation 2 Joy-Con style controller, you get some of the weirdest and most despicable driving out there. Now, it's not It's not Mass Effect 1 Mako driving, but it's pretty damn close. Like if I were just to grab my controller, even on a standard like classic style controller, tilt the stick forward to go. Makes sense. You can't side to side and tilt forward at the same time. It is single input only. And for a game that lets you move in a 4D space, whether you're crouching, jumping, sprinting, you can move left or right, backwards, forwards at any given time while also looking around. That was totally fine for characters, but they could never implement it correctly for vehicles. I don't think outside of racing games, like newer ones, we've ever gotten a good motion control for vehicles. Most vehicles in games feel clunky as shit. And unfortunately, for its time, BorderLands 1 was a pretty big map. Like each of the map sets you go to that ask you to traverse via vehicle are pretty large for their time. If you were to walk across the entire distance, you'd be burning 5 to 7 minutes of your day. And when you're on a loot gremlin, ADHD, crack, Florida man addiction of shooting shit, you don't have time to walk from A to B to get it done. You just want to get it done because you want to go see what new shiny thing is around the corner. As of this playthrough, it is my third time ever really playing this game. And I can say with absolute definiteness, I don't want to do it again. Ever. For any reason. It's one of those games that, you know, when you start it off and you hear the poop humor the first time around, it's like, ha ha ha, that's funny. And then the second time you hear it and it's like, hey, I remember that was great the first time. And then you decide to record it because it's in your list of stuff that you've played. And the third time hearing all that bathroom humor, oh my god. I will say, out of everything that came out of this, there is one redeeming quality. Lilith's siren abilities allowed me to go in and out of places from her phase walk for missions that were too stupid or too long for me to want to blast my way back through. It would just be an unnecessary waste of time, because you can go to an area, clear it out for one mission, walk back to town, or teleport back to town, and the second you turn that mission, they're like, ooh, sorry, dude. We're gonna have to send you right back to the location you just were. We forgot something. And I understand. And I forgive. Because again, Wild West era. To save on how big the game was, how varied the loot was, the loot rarities, etc. Cell shading saved them a lot. Reusing map spaces for multiple missions that could only be accepted at different times saved them even more. Honestly, kudos to them. They managed to fit a really fucking massive game into an itty bitty little purse. Like, most discs back then were like maybe 4 gig, maybe 6 gigs at the time. And I mean, this is pre 1080p. We're talking 720p was like crisp. Fucking BorderLands 1 came out when CRT monitors were still like the creme de la crop. CRT monitors still ruled the gamer space. The family living room was made up of the big ass TV that had the 2 giant strips of speakers down the side with the entertainment center underneath it that was sold as a set with the TV. That was the definition of rich, when you had the 180 pound to 210 pound CRT that only fit in a corner because of the way it was built. Like that was peak mid 2000s rich. Flat screens? Nah, that was for the hyper rich. And even then, flat screens back then were like couple inches thick. But the fact that they took it from a box tube cathode ray that would, be 2 to 3 feet of your room. And then did that a few years later. Amazing. The gamer space had to adjust. That was the PS3 and the Xbox 360 era. Get that shit out of here. Oh, fucko. We're using cathode ray tubes. Colors, washed out. The white-black balance on your TV, crisp. And that's why Borderlands 1 worked so much better back then than it does now. It's used to running at maybe 30 frames a second, 720p. It was a 4:3 aspect ratio game. I appreciate that it has gotten a Game of the Year release and a Classic release. I tried to record the Classic release, but the inconsistency in graphics, screen stretching, screen tearing, and half the missions not working because I couldn't pick things up because my monitor runs too fast for the frame rate of the original game, even when capping it with VSync and an FPS cap. Drove me nuts. Absolutely batshit insane nuts, and I hated it. I have had quite enough of Borderlands 1's bathroom humor. I do not have fond memories of it, so it's not a piece of my childhood. I will say, if you are looking for a game that you can burn your weekend on and be like, man, I don't know what I want to do today, and you want to get absolutely schlammered drunk or just absolutely baked, it's a game. It goes on sale regularly on Steam for like $2. And honestly, that's what it is for me. Normally, I equate the dollar to hour played ratio as the perfect measure of how much a game's value is. Oh, you'll get more than your value out of Borderlands. You will. You're just going to have to tell your graphics card to shut the fuck up, stop doing its job, run on dedicated motherboard memory, because modern graphics cards and modern monitors do not do well for this. It's just where it's at. If you have an older rig that's running like a 1660 Super and like a smaller, older 1080p monitor, you're going to be in business. Absolutely banging. You're just going to have a great time. If you can stand that humor for hours and hours and hours on hand, power to you. I have always found the gameplay loop to feel very nice. I do not like having to participate in that gameplay loop for more than 4 hours. Borderlands to me feels more like a party arcade game than it does a sit down for multiple hours and veg kind of game. Soundtrack? Great. Art style? Cool for its time. Even pretty nifty today. I can't reasonably say I would ever recommend this game to somebody as like, oh man, we have nothing to do this weekend. What do you guys want to do? And someone suggests firing up a Borderlands campaign. You kick that person out of the group chat just for a bit. You'll get more than your money's worth. Buy it on sale. It's not worth its full price ever. And I will admit, yes, it was the start of an era, one that they're still actively making, or made, since Borderlands 4 came out like a year ago. And it definitely laid the foundations for future games. But that doesn't mean I have to forgive it for existing in its current state or otherwise. Personally, 4 out of 10 game. Can it be fun? Yeah. Is it something I can see Borderlands fans acting like the Assassin's Creed fanboys for the first couple Ezio games, monkeying over and screeching the second you say you don't like it? No. I think everyone equally understands that Borderlands 1 was a pretty shit game that led to more games being made. Whether those games are good or not, I will have to play again to make memory of. But I don't think I'm ever going to boot Borderlands 1 again with a smile on my face. So, do with that information what you will. I will see you guys on the next one.